What's going on, guys? This is Daniel, one half of the Kwok Brothers, and today we're going to talk about something that I get a question about probably every single day. House hacking. Is it good for you or is it bad? Cue that intro and let's get into it. Alright guys, welcome back, and today we're going to talk about house hacking. Now, for those of you guys that saw this video, you probably know what house hacking is, right? You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, and you were probably like, oh, house hacking, that's something that I'm trying to do right now. Well, for those of you guys that don't know what house hacking is, it's pretty much when you buy a 3 or 4 unit building and you're living in one of the units and you're relying on the other income, the other streams of income from the other units to pretty much take care of your housing expense. So instead of paying rent, instead of paying a mortgage, you're allowing the other units to cover that for you. Well, I had the very fortunate and blessed life to be able to travel all around the country and train on real estate investing. And this is a topic that I've noticed and observed is one of the most popular strategies to do right now. So I did a little research and I also took into account my expertise and my personal observations that I've seen through hundreds and thousands of different real estate investors. And I've compiled 3 pros and 3 cons. And my results were quite shocking, even to me. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's talk about the pros first. Let's talk about 3 pros. Number 1, right? You actually are able to live at a discount or live for free. So I do know some friends that are doing this right now. They bought a 4 unit, they got a residential mortgage, or they predominantly popularly got an FHA mortgage where they only have to put something along the lines of 3% down. That's going to give you a larger debt service if you have a lower down payment. Now, I understand that a lot of strategies out there are more focused towards the short term. They're thinking, well, the less money I could put down, the less money I have to come up with at closing. Well, there's the other side of that, to where the less money you provide at closing, the higher your monthly payment's going to be, right? So the higher the loan balance since day one, the more interest is going to be charged to that as well. Because, well, the bigger the principal, the bigger the interest. You're going to have a higher monthly payment, but predominantly speaking, if you have 3 or 4 other people living in the same building that are paying rent, you should get it at a discounted or even free rate. That's the number 1 reason as to why people even do house hacking. Let's talk about reason number 2. Reason number 2 is you're able to manage it yourself. Now, why do I say that's a pro, right? A lot of people say, well, Daniel, like if you're managing it yourself, isn't that a con? Because you're putting all the work on your shoulders. You're the one that has to deal with all the tenants. Guys, in my experience in real estate, the sooner you can get experience with working with tenants and communicating with them, the better, right? I think one of the biggest things that throws people off guard when they first get into a deal is how difficult it is. It is a lot like babysitting, guys. I've had tenants give me all sorts of reasons as to why they can't pay rent, right? Like the wind blows and they won't pay rent, right? I've heard all sorts of reasons. So in my opinion, the sooner you're able to deal with tenants or work with tenants, right? That's the better lingo. I think the better. And you living in that building, that 3 unit, 4 unit, whatever it may be, it gives you the experience while you're on site. So it's a significant pro for me because it's a long-term benefit to your skill set. Let's talk about the last pro and number 3. Well, it helps you become financially independent. Now, what does it mean to be financially independent? Well, here's what it means to be financially independent. It means that you have a system of passive income and cash flow coming in every single month to where it covers all your monthly expenses. So if you have a 20 unit building that's cash flowing $5,000 a month and your monthly expense is $5,000 a month, meaning your taxes, your groceries, right, food on the table, school, insurance, right, all your personal expenses, you're financially free, you're financially independent. It works in both ways, right? So helping you become financially independent through house hacking, well, it not only takes away one of your biggest expense in terms of your living expense, it can also potentially add more income beyond that to help you cover other personal expenses as well. And it's a great way to kind of almost even do your first deal. Now, I will say that there's a lot of different things in house hacking that are different than going out, finding a deal, raising money, and actually going through with the deal. So it may take you a little longer to structure your learning curve to be able to do that. But other than that, if your goal is to be financially independent, Well, I don't see any downside to it because it takes away one of your biggest expenses while adding some income potentially as well. So those 3 pros I really enjoy with house hacking. I think they're really good things to take advantage of if you're looking to become a house hacking advocate, right? Now let's talk about the cons. Now I think the cons are a little bit more important. All my mentors in real estate investing always tell me, Daniel, always focus on the downside more than you do the upside. So when it comes to house hacking, let's go ahead and list off some cons. So here are your cons. Number 1, when it comes to your cons, the number 1 con that I see, it becomes harder to scale. So if you're looking to become a full-time investor and you're looking to do multiple deals a year, it becomes hard to scale. Why? Because you're living in one of the units and you're pretty much tied down to that unit for minimum at least a year. Or if you're using FHA, it's like your first time home, you'll never be able to do it again. So in my opinion, it prolongs you learning about how to find deals on your own, how to raise the capital, how to do the analysis and underwrite the deal to see if it's a good investment, to learn how to close, to recruit team members, and what it takes, right? All the things that it takes to become a full-time real estate investor and scale a buy and hold portfolio to where you can cash flow $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month. So it becomes absolutely hard to scale because house hacking is such a different strategy than having to do the traditional real estate investing deal acquisition route. So number 1, it's hard to scale. Number 2, it's a very emotional process. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you're looking to actually purchase and pick a place for you to live, right? And think about this, guys. This is the place that you're going to be going home to every single day and night, right? It's where you live. It's where you call home. It can absolutely become emotional. And my favorite entrepreneur and investor of all time, Warren Buffett, says that every business decision should be completely emotionless. You should have no emotion in terms of the decisions you make in your business. That's actually the reason why I never took advantage of the house hacking strategy. Matter of fact, my very first deal was a portfolio of single family houses in which I lived in none of the houses. I was actually still in college, guys. I was a senior in college living in university of housing, right? I was living in one of the apartments that my school owned. And that's where I was living with 3 other roommates that were also students, right? The traditional college lifestyle, right? And I still bought 4 houses, a portfolio of 4 houses as my first deal. So I was always taught to not have any emotion in the deal, in the business. So that's con number 2. And last but not least, con number 3, the numbers can be skewed. Now, why do I say this? Well, in my experience, guys, the individuals that are very hardcore about house hacking, who are looking to make this their first strategy, they're not, in my opinion, as educated as they should be in the world of real estate investing. They don't know how to study the expenses. They don't know that typically your debt service is going to be around 30 to 35%. Your expenses are going to be 50%, somewhere around that mark, and that leaves you 20 to 15% in cash flow. That's pretty normal, guys, if you're looking to buy an apartment complex. Well, the people who do this house hacking strategy typically, right, and if it's you, right, you may be an exception, right, whatnot, but guys, I'm just sharing from my personal experience of having traveled all around the country and hearing the strategy and who even uses the strategy of house hacking, right? They don't know that it's not just the taxes. It's not just there's also a lot of things that are involved in terms of owning a multifamily building. So the numbers can oftentimes be a little skewed. And it can also be skewed in the fact that it actually doesn't help people analyze the deal for themselves later on because they're looking for their own home. They have this expectation to live for free, right? But you got to forget, when you're buying a 4 unit and you're living in there for free, you're discontinuing the potential income stream that the last unit that you're living in could be with that last unit. So a lot of times the numbers can be a little skewed, but again, guys, this is my overall thought, right? My overall thought for this entire video and my overall sentiment towards house hacking is that if you're looking to become financially free, you're looking to to just pretty much get out of work and maybe do some side gigs, right? Maybe drive Lyft or Uber 2 hours a day and just have the freedom, then yeah, I think house hacking is great. Right? I think it's phenomenal. I think house hacking is a great strategy, especially if you're single and you're in your 20s and you don't mind living in an apartment unit or a condo unit to just save some money, right? On the other hand, if you're looking to build a real estate portfolio that's over $1 million and you're looking to scale your real estate business, I would make the argument that it actually harms you in the long run because it doesn't teach you how to find deals. It doesn't prepare you with the mindset of having these skill sets that help you become a full-time real estate investor. So overall, I think it's good, but I also think there's some cons that people are not considering. So again, guys, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe and like this button. Tap on that notification bell so that you're notified. We're always looking to put out some great real estate investing content and challenge the things that are being said in the popular world, right? Because there are some cons that people don't talk about. So thank you guys. Much love. I'll see you guys in the next one.